Today we have three different sessions, and we will talk about the sessions will be held by the Alteryx experts. The first one will be led by Rishi Kapoor. Rishi is our special guest from London. He's a leader of the sales engineer team, and he will talk about the Alteryx cloud and those amazing capabilities which are hidden inside of it. We will also have two networking breaks, so we will have a chance to talk with each other, to meet new people, and we highly encourage you to use that time also to maybe drink a coffee or whatever. The next session will be held by me and Wojciech, and we will talk about the best practices in the area of Alteryx. We will talk about some more basic things, but we also will cover some more advanced capabilities of the Alteryx as well. Later, we will have another networking session, and last but not least, we have two presenters from DataPal, Bart Smuga, who is a co-founder of the DataPal and the Alteryx ACEs, and Sebastian Haib, who is the Alteryx expert, and he knows a lot about this. So we have a really long agenda, so the sessions will finish about 9 p.m. today, and after that we will have a session, or maybe not a session, a meeting in the pub downstairs, and we highly encourage you to participate, even if you will be able to come only for half an hour. Now I will pass the voice to Rishi.
Great, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for attending today. Now, the last half an hour, I've been trying to pronounce good evening in Polish. I'm going to just stick to English because I can't pronounce it. So maybe in the break, you can teach me some Polish. It's the first time I'm in Warsaw and Poland, so thank you so much for the warm welcome. I really love the place and I want to come here more often. And to PwC and DataPal, thank you so much for the invitation. So today I'm going to be covering the Alteryx Analytics Cloud platform, and I want to kind of set the scene. So I've come up with a scenario. It's going to be all about supply chain. Hopefully some of you in the room know about supply chain analytics, and we know it's a common problem in this country, around the world, you know, as a result of many changes that have been going on in the economy. And I'm going to be covering some key features here. So I'm sharing this slide up here, and some of you may have seen a similar slide before, because I want to talk about the new and exciting capabilities that we've got in our cloud platform, as well as how we can switch from on-prem to the cloud platform as well. So we all know Alteryx is great at reading in data from all systems. You can see on the left-hand side of the screen. We can do the bit in the middle now in the cloud as well. Now, what's even more exciting is that we've incorporated generative AI across the whole platform. So it's not just within bits of the platform, like in specific products, it's complete end-to-end, which is going to be really exciting for you guys, I feel. And then again, once we've done our transformation, our prep and blending, some advanced analytics, we can then go out to various outputs to help our business decisions go further. So I mentioned that, imagine a scenario around supply chain. So just think that I'm an operations manager at the moment working for, let's just say, a retail store. As the ops manager, the first thing I'm going to do in the morning or the start of day is I go into Auto Insights. Auto Insights is effectively dashboarding within our platform now, which is driven by AI and ML. So gone are the days where you just want to know what's happening. Analysts want to know why that specific thing is happening. How does that trend? What do patterns look like? We need to start doing things like root cause analysis and so much more. So you get that with Auto Insights without actually building anything. So let's take a look. I'm having a look at this dashboard now. I get a summary at the top of the screen. So this is, I've been getting a lot of complaints from my customers. Products aren't being delivered. I need to start investigating what's causing this problem and what's causing delays to deliveries. So straight away, I can have a look at this chart over here. I can start making comparisons month on month. But I can see that the average days late are actually going up. So this is going up by more than 10%. Let's have a look what's causing that. So my eyes go straight to the delivery trucks. But as an ops manager, I want to drill down further on this. So I can actually go and click on these missions on the left-hand side of the screen. So we have one mission 4 days late. And you notice here again, we have a great chart at the top. I want to drill down. So I want to come down here and I see the delivery truck are causing some issues. And actually there's a delay and a change of at least 1 day for every product that I'm trying to ship out. Let's have a look at what warehouses are causing issues as well. So now within Auto Insights, we can click on this drill down button and you notice the screen changes. It's all about storytelling. So at the top, you can see comments and narratives around what's actually going on. So it's not just data now, it's actually telling you like things are going up. This is potentially why, and this is what we think you should be doing as a result. So we can see some of that narrative here. We can have a look at large increases and large decreases, for example. Now let me go back because I can see there's a problem with the method via trucks. So I need to speak to my team and they might potentially need to do something about this. I want to come over here. Now this is where generative AI kicks in. So we're going to go and click on Magic Documents. Now, Magic Documents is great. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click New Document. I need to contact somebody in my team. So let's go ahead and like click email, for example. And I'm going to type in analyst for the moment here. So I want to, my audience is an analyst. Now I'm going to select Polish as my language. Let's go over here, select Polish. We're going to be generating an email from an analyst in my team in Polish. Now, this is using the power of Gen AI, but it's using the data in the dashboard to summarize all the key metrics and findings so that I can just copy and paste this email and send it to the analyst. And maybe I will ask someone in the front row, maybe Bart or Emil, in a minute to validate whether this actually makes any sense because I can't read Polish. So hopefully this makes sense.
So far, so good.
Right, that's a good sign.
Yeah, I actually really like the part of the Auto Insight, which most people maybe are not aware. The Auto Insight is looking at the change in the data. So we are looking here only at the information that is actually changing. We don't look at the KPIs like in Power BI or Tableau. We are searching for something that can bring us a lot of money or can cost us a lot of money, because in the change, there is always something behind it, something that is a business opportunity or a risk for the organization.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks a lot. So I can copy and paste this email and send it to the analyst, and the HR won't get involved with a formal complaint from the analyst to me. Now let's look at presentation mode, because this is one of my favorites. So you can also go in and select presentation, and Auto Insights will automatically generate a slide deck. You can put this on your own corporate format as well. And like you said, this is a great starting point, because at the end of the day, you have a presentation in 5 minutes. You don't need to rush around to prepare it. Just create this first draft and you can start presenting about the business impact. It's business impact that will either make you money or what you need to change that, you know, to prevent profit loss, basically. So let's go back here. I want to show you another feature in Auto Insights, which is another great one as well. So say, for example, I'm the analyst and I need to understand other use cases that might actually impact my business as well. I can come in here and say I'm a supply chain analyst. I'm just going to type in Poland, see what happens. Clicking on generate use cases, Auto Insights will go and connect via Gen AI to go and evaluate my job title and go and have a look at the use cases that are relevant to me and my industry, and hopefully it will make it specific to Poland as well. And what it does is it will produce sample data with a schema, and also you get to see the dashboard built based on that data. So for example, here we got optimization related use cases, we've got inventory management. So if I see these reports, if I just go one back, let's just get back here, go back to use case. Let's try supply chain optimization. This should hopefully go ahead and create a dashboard for me using some sample data. And in a future release of Auto Insights, you'll be able to put your own data at playbooks, and then it will produce a dashboard automatically based on your data directly into Auto Insights. Now, there's two ways to go into Auto Insights. You can go in via Alteryx workflow. So we have a connector, which you can just drag and drop and go out, or you can load your data directly into the part of the cloud platform as well. Whilst this is loading, any questions on Auto Insights for the moment? Yeah, go ahead.
So it's a well-known fact that AIs have, well, let's say, there is a possibility of glitching to AI. So let's say, how you can estimate, or let's say, tell us that AI provides you with a correct data, but it's not a glitching.
Yeah, it's a good question. So this, sorry.
Please repeat the question.
So the question was around, it's a known fact within AI that you have glitches and issues potentially with the data that's coming back on the responses. So how can we ensure that the glitches don't exist within the platform? Was that the question as such? So this part, we're leveraging like Microsoft Azure services and ChatGPT within Auto Insights. But there is another addition to our platform that's going to be coming out soon. It's AI Workbench. And that gives you the power to start either building your own LLM models or tuning and testing the LLM models as well. So that's going to be coming, and you can really tweak those models for bias, glitches, and making sure that those models are going to be balanced. Then you'll be able to use those models within the Alteryx workflow and within the platform as well. But I haven't got any other information about that yet. So just watch out for the future release as well. Okay, so there seems to be a bit of an error being generated here, but essentially what you will get is you will get similar mission that we've just seen here generated automatically as well. So once you get your hands on Auto Insights, I definitely recommend playing with playbooks as well. So I need to go back to my team. The analyst has read the email and he's thought, well, you know what, I need to go and make some changes now. So this is where we start looking at Designer Cloud. So I'm going to assume a lot of you in the room at least leverage Designer Desktop. So this is essentially taking what you have in Designer Desktop within the cloud. It's very simple here. So, you know, I need to come into this workflow and analyze this workflow and see what the issue is. But essentially, you'll notice that the middle of the screen is our canvas. On the left-hand side, we have those blocks that you would traditionally drag and drop onto the canvas to build your workflow. Now, within cloud, you just share your data connection once, and that can be leveraged across the whole cloud platform. So let me show you an example of how we would build a very simple workflow in Designer Cloud. So let's just drag and drop this input data. And on the right-hand side of the screen, I want to connect to some truck data. So let's go over here. I've got some truck data stored in my Snowflake database. So in a moment, we'll notice that at the bottom of the screen, this is our results window, has got our data being previewed immediately. And what's quite great is that you can start profiling your data as soon as you drag and drop that input data tool. You don't even have to run the workflow. As well as that, I can actually have a look at suggestions. So as I'm building my workflow, Alteryx will make automatic suggestions in terms of what the next tool should be, or, you know, what logic should I have, say, for example, in a filter or a formula. So let me go ahead and make some more changes here. So I'll just show you an example here, dragging and dropping select. I'm fine with the columns that I have here. And I want to bring another input file let's just say I actually want to look at trucks at risk. So the whole idea is I want to know which trucks are causing delays to my deliveries. This might be to do with like the trucks aren't performing well, they need service, they're breaking down a lot. So let's go ahead and do some analytics on this. So the analyst will come in here, they will start building a workflow. So they want to maybe join data sets together. And let's join this on truck ID. And like we designed a desktop, again, you can look at the records that have joined and the records that don't join. We have some records that are not reconciling on truck ID as well. We may want to go and investigate that further. So imagine now the analyst has built a workflow and they've got an output file and they want to use that to build a predictive model. So essentially, the managers told the analysts that we need to predict the likelihood of delays happening in the future with trucks. This is where we go into the realm of machine learning in the cloud. So how many of you in the room have played around with machine learning on-prem on the desktop or built a predictive model, for example? Apart from the guys in the front row. So actually, I'm not a data scientist, but I actually understand what's going on here. So we've made it very easy for you where you just load the data that you want to analyze, answer a series of questions with a few steps. Alteryx will explain exactly what's going on. So let's give this a go. I've loaded my truck data into machine learning, and I can have a look at the columns here. So these could potentially be factors that are affecting the delays of deliveries, but also what's quite interesting is I have a breakdown column here, which will tell me whether that truck has broken down previously or not. So that could be quite useful. When I loaded the data, I've told Alteryx that I want to predict whether that truck is going to break down in the future. And based on the data that's presented here, it's a true-false column. Alteryx are telling me this is a classification problem. And it also explains this in plain English, that classification is a technique aimed at predicting a categorical value. Now, so I'm going to go ahead and trust Alteryx, but I can do these three different types. So I can also do regression and time series forecasting as well in the cloud. Let's go ahead and click next. So what Alteryx is going to do is now performing the modeling. And then within here, you can go really deep. So you can do feature engineering, which means that you can add or delete columns or fields. And Alteryx actually now told me, well, which model is best for what I'm trying to predict. It ran all these 7 models in parallel, and overall, it's told me this one here, this extra trees classifier, is the most recommended model. I can have a look at its performance score and ranking as well. I'm not going to make any changes when it comes to feature engineering, but we can actually do that here. We can look at feature importance. So I can come down here and have a look at whether there's any columns that are important to what I'm trying to predict. And we can also look at correlations. So machine learning is going to go and build a correlation matrix here now to tell me what the correlation is, say, of service or mileage on the truck breaking down. And you can see those correlation scores on this chart here as well. So let's go ahead and click next. So Alteryx is going to go ahead and evaluate that model. And it's told me that mileage, tire wear, and average RPM are the most important columns or factors that are going to impact the likelihood of that truck breaking down when it's delivering my products. I can come in here and also look at some advanced analytics. So there's another correlation matrix here, which could be quite useful. But I can go really deep. So if you're a data scientist, you want to look at the ROC curve of that predictive model, you can do that here. And what's quite cool is that I can run what-if analysis and scenario analysis of my model. So I can actually come in here and make some changes to the 3 most important factors that could impact my predictions: so mileage, tire wear, or average RPM. And I can rerun the model against that scenario and see if my simulated prediction is going to be higher than that starting prediction. Any questions so far on this part of the cloud platform? Right, so we'll let that run in the background. So while that's running, I'm just going to go and click next. And what's quite cool is that I can export the results of my machine learning model to PowerPoint. So if I click export, a PowerPoint deck will get produced. I can actually export this to be used in Designer. So I can actually download, and what happens is a tool will be downloaded, and I can drag and drop that tool within Designer, and I have my own predictive model built. I can even export this to Python. So that's great. I can produce the Python script, hand it over to data scientists, and they can go and make some advanced tweaks to that model as well. Now, we've understood and we've predicted the likelihood of that delay happening, and we've pinpointed the trucks that could potentially be at risk. Enter the realm of location intelligence within the cloud. So what we've gone and done here is we've loaded the truck data and the trucks at risk. And you notice that we've actually gone and we can actually visually see where those trucks are. So for example, I can see this red truck is at risk and the blue trucks are not. Now this is all happening in the cloud. So I can add additional layers here, or I can do some new analysis as well. So you can see here now, if you've used the spatial tools on desktop, you'll recognize functionality like trade area, spatial match, find nearest, summarize by area as well. Now, this is a game changer because when we look at our competition, a number of these features and functions that I'm going through today, including location insights, you can't do it that easily within one end-to-end cloud platform. So I think that is really cool in terms of what we're doing at Alteryx at the moment. Now, I want to show you a few more things. So imagine as if you're a designer desktop user. And I have this workflow here, or you've got this workflow here, where you've built out a predictive analysis workflow. Now, I don't really want to run this in my designer desktop by clicking run all the time, or my data's in the cloud, it's in Snowflake, it's changing on a daily basis. So essentially what I want to do is I want to run this in the cloud. I'm going to go ahead and leverage cloud execution for desktop. I don't really have time to rebuild this complex workflow within Designer Cloud. Designer Cloud only allows me to prep and blend data or do calculations. I'm leveraging some macros and some really powerful R tools from desktop, but I'm going to leverage the power of the cloud. So essentially what I can do here is, let me just go over here. I'm just going to go into my cloud execution for desktop environment. And I just literally upload that workflow from my designer desktop within cloud execution for desktop. And you'll see in a moment that I should be able to do a number of things here, including scheduling that workflow in the cloud as well. So here you see I've entered my environment and I have my supply chain predictive analysis workflow. I can come in here and share this workflow. I can schedule this workflow. So I can set up a new schedule based on a specific day and a recurrence and a frequency, so quite similar to what you can do in Alteryx Server. And I actually trigger this workflow off based on data being made available at a specific time as well. I can also download this workflow as well, or if I want to change the parameters of the workflow, I can duplicate this within the cloud. Now, all of this combined together, I want to come up with a plan. And essentially that plan is a plan within our cloud platform. But let me show you what a plan is. Plan is a way of joining all of the different processes within the platform within one view here. Now, essentially what this is going to allow you to do is drag and drop the objects on the left. So I can bring in my supply chain workflow. That's chained into another workflow. That then goes out into my spatial analytics. It goes into building a predictive model. I can go and send out alerts to websites and Slack or Teams. And essentially now you can run this or schedule this within the cloud. So essentially, you've got end-to-end capabilities in the cloud, which allow you to do this within one platform, but also you can bring things in from on-prem as well. So now you've got the power of Designer Desktop and the cloud all in one platform. So hopefully you guys have found this interesting. There's a lot of changes coming up. I wish I can show you some sneak peeks But there's some exciting changes that's going to be coming up to the AACP. I'll give you a few ideas, right? So everyone's heard of Copilot, hopefully, or for those of you have noticed what Microsoft are doing, we're going to be launching our Copilot as well. So I've seen an early release of that existing within Designer Desktop. That's going to be really cool. And there's going to be more enhancements when it comes to embedding Gen AI in the whole platform. So I keep reiterating that, because when we look at other technologies, they're only embedding that within specific products of their platform. This is completely integrated end to end. So I'm really excited about this, and I hope you guys are going to be really excited. If you want access to any of these parts of the cloud platform, please come and have a conversation with myself or my colleagues who are here, Kapoor or PwC as well, and we'll give you access and you can play around with it as well. So thank you. Thanks very much.
We'll finish, maybe you will explain one more thing, because I think the orchestration part of the Alteryx Cloud is really interesting. There are 3 different anchors from each of the tools here. Could you give a short description or explanation, because I think this is pretty interesting and the audience could benefit from that.
Yeah, sure. So we've tried to make this as simple and as similar to you building out an Alteryx workflow designer. So, for example, here we got 1 input anchor, and we got 3 output anchors. Essentially, the top one here is the tick. The middle one here is like a straight through arrow, and the bottom one is a cross. This connection here is that if this workflow runs successfully, then it will go and run this workflow here or this predicted model. The middle output anchor is just like, I call it a straight through process. So essentially, nothing is going to happen. It's literally just going to go through that module or that tool or that job and then go and run the next one. The bottom one is, in case that workflow fails, then go and do something else. So essentially, everything within the platform now is going to be quite similar to just you building out a workflow. So we've taken that workflow mindset and putting it within the whole platform, essentially.
Yeah, thank you, Rishi. Like, in my opinion, this is super user-friendly and easy to understand. And this gives really a lot of different possibilities of the controls. Like, if we have a fail, okay, maybe we need to inform people via Slack, or maybe we need to run another workflow. Like, this is something that can orchestrate your work much, much better and easier, in my opinion, than the majority of the tools that I'm aware of. One is Rishi for the insightful presentation. I think it was very beneficial for people, as not many people have the chance to work with the cloud platform yet. And thank you for coming from London.
No, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you also for joining us today, to everyone. Like, some people are from Poland, but we have also people from Germany, and some people traveled from Gdańsk, Krakow, Katowice, and I'm very excited about this. And if you don't mind, I will take a selfie, because this is a great moment.
Selfie.
Thank you very much. And now we will have a quiz. We have some gadgets from the Alteryx. We have a book that was written by one of the Alteryx ACEs from Brazil, and it's pretty cool. And we have 2 actually quizzes. One of them is pretty straightforward. This will be like a warm-up session for everyone to better understand how it will work, and for everyone to understand how the application works, and for us to know how many people will join the after party, because we need to reserve spots for you. Everyone will get some drinks, alcohol or non-alcohol. We have like coins to spend. And we will share them with you. And now, what is important? Time is important in the quiz. So if you will answer a question, that's good, but sooner you will answer, more points you will get.
Correctly.
Correct. Yeah, the first one is only warm up. This will be only for you to better understand how the application works. And Wojciech will make it work in a second. So bear with us. Okay. So there is an application called Menti, and you can scan the QR code. And actually, I'm not sure if that's the case for everyone, but if this screen is a little bit blurred, you can look at the side. I think it's a little bit more sharp. If the QR code doesn't work, you can enter the code manually. And I will give you a little bit of time. So actually, 3 people will get gadgets. And the first person will get gadgets.
That's the warm-up, right?
And that's the warm-up, yes. That's the warm-up.
Yes, we just waiting for Wojciech to run this.
We still growing.
37 people, and it's rising.
Menti.com. It's correct screen, right?
Yeah.
URL and also URL
Right.
www.
Still writing, so.
43, right?
लिखा है देखो URL में डालो
Yes.
www.menti.com.
So everyone finished? I think I still see some people that are trying to connect, so we'll wait for a moment.
Swipe कर दे
Okay, and all question will appear on your mobile, so don't look at the presentation, just do your mobile.
For the real quiz, we will do it once more. Yes, they need to come.
Yes.
Okay. So 1 more minute.
But if you set up your name right now, it will be the same for the whole.
Yeah, it would be actually they should spell that before. It would be good to have like a full name, but hopefully it will work. And we will not have any issues.
Or remember your emoji.
Okay. So maybe we'll start.
Okay.
Actually,
One more.
not working.
Not working. So maybe we can come back for a second.
Like an empty page. I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's good.
So there was no question for name or anything.
Where is the question?
We didn't start it.
Yeah.
We need to log in first, and then when everyone is ready, someone is still trying to connect. I don't see
The question screen is okay.
Okay, so let's start. You can read questions on your mobile. Sooner you will answer, more points you will get. But this is not, yes, I know. I just want to everyone to be aware.
So the newest version is most popular.
Let's take it out. Some of the 2020.
Yeah.
Older.
in that meeting Josh was asking
Yeah, we would like to better understand what's the audience, so for future maybe we will be able to better prepare our content.
So that's a good challenge, right?
One expert. Or that was a misclick.
stop it there.
Okay, next one.
Who's the original?
Yeah, interesting fact. When we were on the Inspire last year, we heard that the majority of the Alteryx users are using the software between 1 and 2 years. So that's the case in our audience as well.
And then
भीड़ में खो जाओगे.
that's the more.
Even if you would like to join us for half an hour, please let us know. And where is just downstairs, so we don't need to travel anywhere far. Only if you-
One of the
You can change. You don't.
I mentioned it.
After the event, we will give you some vouchers. So there are girls in the white t-shirts
I mentioned my wife.
here, and they will.
Okay, so I think that we've got
The warm up ready, and now
done.
Competition time.
Most important results.
yeah, and now we will focus on real competition. You know, we have some prizes, and I think like I'm an Alteryx fan, and I would love to get some swag. So, but I'm not like.
I will play.
You can, but you cannot win.
Okay, so scan it again.
So on the last, it was 50 people.
Yeah.
So we will wait at least.
Yeah.
QR code.
Fine.
So 3 places will receive a reward. So this is a competition time.
Is it funny?
The fastest answers are the more important.
Yes, correct answer.
No.
I don't know.
To see your apartment, something.
Yeah, if you log in, just hit the like button.
Because legally, someone should come to your house to see your house if you want to go there. But, no, it's just they can mark it as it. Okay, this is done.
Pierwsze miejsce jest twoje.
Okay.
Myślę, że masz dać radę.
Yeah, it's still rising. It was 50 people.
Yeah.
50 less.
Okay.
Yeah, but still.
Okay, so I think that's
Anyone need a little bit more time? No? So come on. We should have a music from Mortal Kombat.
okay.
Yeah, that's done.
Yeah.
Questions are hard. One is still focused. To the device. Everyone has votes. Come on.
Crowded.
मैंने सही पूछा मैंने 25 में थर्ड वाला आप तो गलत ही गलत ठीक है यार
There are 10 questions in total. So you can take a break.
ज्यादा कर दिया मैंने 270 से ऊपर भरोसे की जिन्होंने अपनी तो कुछ पढ़ाई करी होगी आप अरे पढ़ाई करी क्या बदला
अभी क्या लग रहा है सही हो गया
Here's leaderboard. Yeah, it's after the first 5 questions. Second time.
It's a champ.
Another 5 questions.
Take the two graphic Y and Z at the end of the Alteryx represents demographic software in the So that was a tip.
maybe wait allow
Answers.
classes is also correct. Yes.
one of the 64 seconds.
Well, that short. And then
Option ready.
Yeah.
Another one.
So here ज्यादा तो नहीं होगा
Maybe वही मार दिया
two of them are here.
तो पक्के भी सभी से
यार देखा नहीं कुछ मार दिया पता नहीं मैं क्या मारा हूँ अरे मैं ऐसे ही मैं कुछ भी मार दिया हूँ पता नहीं
3 सेकंड में देख तो लो पढ़ तो क्या मार रहा हो
ऐसे क्लिक
And the last question is
एक सवाल में तो सर्वर का जवाब आएगा टेक्निकली स्पीकिंग
And the moment
Goldmeister is super enjoying out.
where I am
Lily.
So congratulations to
HP party.
we start with the first place. Master, can we invite you to the scene? Or she?
Oh.
So this is the gadgets. Congratulations. Well done. Good job. Once more. The second place is Jan.
That's me, but I work for Alteryx, so I don't take part in the competition. You can choose the next one in line.
Are you sure? Okay, so we will go to barefoot contest in that case. We believe you. Thank you. Then the main winner, Clippy.
Working for PwC, so maybe I will also.
Congratulations, this is the book.
Basically, you could take a photo.
Yeah. Here, just for you. This is our main winner, so.
One more. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Gratulacje.
Right, you're done.
So that was fun. And now we will have a break, 15 minutes. So, no, 25. So everyone will have a chance to, rest,
Coffee.
grab some coffee. I hope you will enjoy it. So, Wojciech, if you could also introduce yourself and that would be amazing.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wojtek Dziedzic, and I'm senior data analyst in Fast Data team at PwC Poland. I'm the leader of the team who uses Alteryx to help reduce manual and repetitive tasks for our internal and external clients. Additionally, as a trainer, I'm trying to share my knowledge about Alteryx during our internal training sessions. And today, I would like to present some good practices based on a specific example. Just one. Okay, so we've got a request to create a workflow, which will take the yesterday's file as an input. If the current day is Monday, then the selection should go on Friday. And then we have to add the column with calculated loss amount. And in the end, the results should be saved in new file with creation date included in file name. So, we should start with dynamic input tool to point Alteryx where our folder with files are stored. Then in formula tool, I'm creating the logic, which is checking if today's day is Monday. If yes, then we should take the file which was created 3 days before. If not, we are taking the file which is created yesterday.
If I can jump in quickly, like this is the functionality that will allow you to streamline your processes much more efficiently. Like if you are using Alteryx server and you can only grab the data that you are really interested in the dynamic way, this is like a next step to actually make your life much, much easier, because Alteryx is cool, but if you are dragging and dropping a new file on each day to run the process, it's not being used properly. Like you can achieve much more if you will think about more dynamic solutions. And this is something that in a lot of organizations would bring a lot of benefit. Sorry for jumping in.
No problem. Okay, so as a good practice is to use the test tool. Over here, we are checking that only one file is mapped to our previous logic. And if you know, if everything is okay, there is no any error message. But if, for example, more than one file is selected by our logic, the error message will appear over here. But for now, it's okay. So we are going to the next tool by dynamic input tool. I'm uploading the our source file. After that, in two next tools, I'm doing just basic data preparation, like skipping the unnecessary rows or changing the data type for a spent column. And over here in the first formula tool, I'm creating the new column called gross amount. And we are multiplying the spent column by VAT rate amount. It is 1.23. In the second one, we are creating the new column called path, where we describing our new file name with date of creation included on it. And in the end, we are saving our results by output data tool. And over here in the bottom, we have to tick mark over here this option to take file table name from field. Then we have to select over here, change entire file path. And we are selecting over here the column with our new file path with new file name as a part to our tool, right?
Yeah, and if I can jump in, this is a really helpful way of creating some kind of timestamp, some additional information in the name of the file. Like if you have a process that is running on daily basis and you need to investigate, okay, why the data was missing 2 weeks ago on certain day. You have this like the daily output created, and it's really easy for you to investigate, and you can answer the question from the business. Okay, it wasn't my fault, the data wasn't there in the database, for example. And moreover, using this functionality will allow you to save the files in different locations. So for example, if you have data for different regions, you can use that and to split your output files into 3 different files. And like this is a really nice feature, and it's not super complicated to use.
Right. Sure. Okay. Now I would like to present the template of documentation which we are doing in PwC. As you can see in the beginning, we've got the section with workflow title, the section with short description, who built it, who did the last modification. On the left-hand side, we've got also stored the legend with the colored containers with colors for all major parts of our workflow, like input and output data and data preparation, joins, and so on. The same schema we've got over here, prepared in new containers. And if we would like to present our previous workflow in this schema like this, the answer is over here. That we've got right now. In the beginning, short information about our workflow. The legend is still over here, and in the bottom, okay, and here in the button, we've got stored all these tools which we used before in nice colored containers with short annotations for each tool. And as you can notice, this type of presentation causing that our workflow is clean and tidy and very useful to read, even for a person who uses it for the first time. Okay, then. So that's all from me.
Thank
How's
you.
your laptop?
We'll see. Yeah, I see that I have a bit luck. But it's good for me that this part isn't too interactive. So first of all, I just will make my screen a little bit bigger. This is our template that we are using in DataPal, and we are using it with our customers as well. What is important is why we are talking about the documentation itself. Like this, spending a little bit more time on your processes to make them more, let's say, visually appealing and better documented will pay off in the long term. Not only because you will be able to understand what you are doing in the workflow, which can be problematic after a couple of months of not visiting the workflow. Secondly, it will be easier for your colleagues to understand why it isn't working if it's not working, and they will not call you on the vacation. And lastly, it will make especially life easier for the new joiners because it's much easier to understand the workflow if all of them are looking very, very similarly. Okay, but coming back to the color legend and the template itself, the template should make our customers' life much easier because also of the color legends. We are using only 5 different colors because we don't want to overcomplicate it. The input and output tools are pretty straightforward. For the yellow color, we are using it to highlight where are the testing mechanisms and where are the interface tools. The green one is most commonly used. It's for joins and data prep. So the basic stuff or more commonly used stuff. But what I want to highlight is the red color. Let's imagine it's Friday evening and I am finishing my work for today, and I want to point out to myself where I finished my work. When I will revisit the workflow, I will know that, okay, red color is something that I need to revisit, start working. Maybe it isn't still working properly because it requires a little bit more development. But this is just something that shows me or my colleagues, because maybe I will be upset, that this isn't working properly and someone needs to pick it up. And I have 2 also comments here. 1 second. Okay. The one on the left is super basic. Owner, where is the documentation? The procedure. So in case I need to, for example, enter SAP system, extract the data, update some kind of data source manually, I can put it all here. High-level process description. Okay. But what I want to highlight, and I spend a lot of time in the banking industry, is the change log. Storing information, who performed the change, why it was done, what was the problem, which tools have been amended, and in case we are working with tickets or incident numbers, we can store it here as well. If we don't, at least put a subject of the title of the email. Because after 6 months, you will not remember why you built a certain logic in a specific way. And for example, I had a situation like that, that senior stakeholder asked me, okay, why you have done this in that way? Like why the logic is working like that? And actually I found an email after like 2 hours of searching that I was asked for that from another senior stakeholder. But if I would have this information, like the subject or the ticket number, I could copy paste that, like from the changelog, copy it, use the Control F shortcut. Still loading. I could just search for it and I would be able to quickly find it on on the workflow itself. Like you will see that in a second. This is just a really good practice, and I highly recommend doing something like that because this will make your life much easier. And in case you will receive some questions from senior stakeholder, it will make your life easier. So Wojciech, now stage is yours.
Okay, so let me just okay, so as in a real life, we received the extra conditions for our previous version of workflow that VAT rate amount may change, so solution should be more dynamic. And it is the question also, is it possible to receive notifications if the workflow was running with errors? So the answer for the first one is we have to go back to the bills amount column. And as you can see over here, we've got this VAT rate amount typed manually. So if we would like to make it more dynamic, we can create over here in workflow configuration and in workflow tab. There is the option to create the user variables by clicking the plus sign. As you can see, the type is by user, and over here we can just type the name of this variable, the amount, and then we have to tick mark over here to let Alteryx know that this value is numeric, and now we are able to use it in every expression in our workflow. So going back over here, we can just delete it and paste this one. If we run it again, the amounts after this multiply will be the same as before. But the benefit of this solution is that if the VAT rate will change in the future, then we have to only change this value in one place rather than in all expression when we are using the manual typed value. Okay, so this is the first answer. And the second one is about the notifications. And yes, we are able to receive this kind of notifications. We just need to set up the event over here in our workflow configuration by clicking the add button and then send an email. Over here, run event when, choose the after run with errors. And over here in SMTP, we have to type in our SMTP client, then the port number, and the email of the sender, the email of the receiver. And over here in subject and body, we've got default values set up. But the main one and the more important is the part with the output log, because basically this is the same data as you can see over here in results pane on the button. So if we click OK and save it on Alteryx Gallery and run it via it, then we are able to receive the email if Alteryx finished with errors or without it. And this is super handy if you create a workflow and forgot about it, and you don't know if it's still running with errors or not. But maybe someone from management is using your output data, and then they are not able to discuss if the data are correct or not. Okay, so that's all from me. Emil? Sure.
I just wanted to ask the audience if you have some questions before I will share my part. Are you using this functionality to send emails after the workflow was running incorrectly?
Isn't it limited in terms of what is being outputted in the log?
I think you don't have too many configuration options that are available there, and I think the emails aren't very straightforward. We don't provide like a full and it's really hard to actually investigate. But at least you know that it isn't working.
Yeah, but basically you've got the same information as we've got over here. So all this log is sent to your email if something going wrong.
Sure. 1 second. Almost there. Oh, no. I just need to correct that expression. Sorry for the technical issues, but I needed to restart my machine. So basically, this is a real life scenario that I was maintaining a process for one of our customers, and the process was pretty big. And the process had some information about unique transaction ID. The data actually had some information about the unique transaction ID. And in our process, which was run on daily basis, we received a lot of ad hoc because we got a lot of questions why some of the transactions IDs aren't visible in the report, in the output file. I need to actually run the workflow. In the workflow itself, we got many filters in which the data being dropped along the way. And in this scenario, it was really painful for me to manually investigate where specific data has been dropped. How I was actually investigating that? I was copy-pasting the information about transaction ID that I was searching for into the Alteryx, use the join tool, and later I was able to quickly, maybe not so quickly, but I was able to identify in which places I was excluding the data. And I was able to copy-paste that information, put it into Excel file, send it over to the customer, and it was a way for me to answer the question. But because the amount of questions was increasing rapidly, because we have covered a lot of different countries, I needed to make something about it. So I actually built a macro that allows me to map specific columns, and I'm mapping in this particular situation unique transaction ID, and I will look into all the unique transaction IDs that I'm interested in, but only when I will run the workflow using the constant as yes. So this is a functionality shown by Wojciech, and I was using that to not change anything in the workflow, run the workflow, and just observe the positions which I wanted to investigate. But taking into consideration that I wanted to improve the process even more, I just added all the explanation why the data has been dropped. I used the union tool, and later the data was ready in a minute after I will run the workflow to make my life easier. I just copy pasted the file, attached it into the Outlook, and send it over. And lastly, I didn't want to press the button at all. I just created an input data source that people could populate themselves, and they needed to run the workflow from the gallery. And the users, when he was running the workflow from the gallery, he was only able to run it as test. So it will not interfere on my daily schedule, on my daily process. So basically, the person could run it and they get the file straight away to their email box. And this is pretty good way of explaining how you can make your job easier. And what is important, I didn't start it with that. Like this was something that I developed in time because I saw that there is a need for that. Okay, we ran out of time, so no questions now. But thank you.
But after.
Thank you for listening. We will have another break now, 15 minutes, and we will have a final presentation.
Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. And as Emil mentioned today, we will have a chance to present you a Snowflake Alteryx Tableau ultimate workflow. But before we'll do that, I just wanted to say a few words about us, about me and Sebastian. So my name is Bart, and I'm very happy to be recognized as Alteryx ACE, the same as Emil. There is about 58 Alteryx ACEs around the world out of 520,000 of Alteryx users. And Alteryx ACE is a title given to the top contributors of Alteryx community, so I'm very happy to have this title. Secondly, I'm an Alteryx user group leader, so we are organizing user group meetings similar to this since for 3 years at this moment. And as a result of our passion to Alteryx, together with Emil, we founded Datapal. Datapal is a consulting company that is Alteryx official partners. We are helping people, we are helping companies on their journey with Alteryx through training and consulting services. Last but not least, I have quite a strong experience within Agile and Scrum. I'm certified Scrum Master, and I truly believe that this is very good to have a skill that you should have when it comes to Alteryx development, workflows development. So I'm passing my voice to Sebastian at this moment. Sebastian.
Hello everyone, my name is Sebastian Shire, and it's not a secret that I'm huge Alteryx fan, Alteryx geek. My experience is almost 8 years. I started in 2016. So during my journey, Alteryx journey, I was covering many areas. So starting with the data analyst, so Alteryx developer, now Alteryx trainer, consultant, also as a leading engineer for Alteryx server. So I established few environments. And let's say last year, I joined Emil and Bart as a user group leader for Poland. So I'm really pleased to be here and be a part of this event.
Thank you. So I just wanted to say that the use case which we aim to present was based on the experience, and our Datapal team was working much in the area of reporting, of automation of reporting across various clients and various sectors. And based on that knowledge, we have seen a lot of different situations, different challenges, and we gathered all those techniques, all those best practices in one ultimate, I would say, Alteryx workflow. I think many of us see common problems within the organizations. The first one would be about that preparing data from various systems, from various sources, is very time-consuming and risky. Like everyone will agree, I believe, on this. The second point is that many people don't have enough programming expertise, so they are not starting any initiatives to automate their work. And for our use case, we wanted to present you a diagram which will visualize the goal of the project which we aim to achieve through Alteryx. Let's assume that you have like a request from management. Your boss is calling you and is telling that you need to do a project within Alteryx, for instance, and you need to accomplish those three project objectives. So the first one would be about creating daily stage dashboard. The management said that it can be in Tableau or Power BI, for instance. The second goal of this project, of this Alteryx project, is about creating PDF reports. Thank you. PDF reports, which could be generated by Alteryx. And last but not least, they would like to give the opportunity to run the application to business people who don't have Alteryx license. So let's imagine that Alteryx could be given to people who don't have Alteryx license, and they can run the application to get some resources. Oh, sorry. So we identified 3 stages. The first one, the sourcing. We have several sources in our data. As I mentioned, it can be very time-consuming to merge those. The first one is about the Snowflake. The second one is about PDF reading. So let's assume that on daily basis, you receive 30 PDF files and you need to copy the data from those files. The third one, YXDB, I think this is very common to people who are using Alteryx. And the last one, through SQL. So all the magic is done within Alteryx. Management asked us to perform this project within Alteryx. So today, this is like a very small Alteryx workflow. We'll share this later today. And in this stage, we'll share the knowledge about how we join the sources, how we perform spatial analysis, and thirdly, how we enrich the data. The third stage, which we aim to share share with you right now today, is about the output of those files from Alteryx. So how we can connect Alteryx, for instance, with Tableau and Power BI, or how we can generate PDFs. You can see the small sample of Tableau visualization over here as well. Last but not least, to those who don't know Alteryx Server, this is a very, very nice product. And I think it will be very interesting for you to see how we can refresh the workflows on a regular basis without any manual effort. I don't need to select run to refresh those dashboards. Last but not least, you have the app for business. So basically, you can use Alteryx Server and Alteryx Designer to give this application to business people without having additional costs when it comes to licenses. So right now, I'm giving the stage to Sebastian. Let's get ready to rumble. And Sebastian, come to you.
So before I will jump to Alteryx inside and we will play with this data a little bit, let me, let's say, touch one topic. It's not commonly used. That's why we decided to also cover that. So in fact, I steal a few slides from data training materials. Let's discuss about standard processing. Probably you already recognize that this is standard Alteryx workflow using standard tools, even if you are connecting to databases like Snowflake, SQL, and so on. But I don't know if you already know that Alteryx offers you in database tools, in database processing, that allows you to perform the same, let's say, the same data processing, but with better performance inside database. Of course, as you can see, the database tools are quite, let's say, narrow to the number, so we can combine these two processing models with something that is called hybrid mode, when we can bring more advanced technique, more advanced tools. So what in hybrid means, so let me explain on this example. Here we have a standard process. So at the beginning, typically we are just connecting to a database and we are downloading huge amount of data to our computer. Then of course we need to perform it, so we are consuming huge resources from our machine. As it's in the daily basis, it's used, Office, MS, Outlook, connected to Teams or something like that. And another bottleneck is the speed of network, transfer speed. In database process, instead, we have totally different scenario. First of all, what we are not downloading, we are sending a small piece of information, which is only SQL code. So in fact, entire processing is done on the database side directly. using really high-speed CPU, hard disk drive, huge memory, and so on. And in fact, we can save this data inside database or download only reduced number of information to our machines. So now let's try to see it in Alteryx. So we will be using this hybrid mode, and at the beginning we'll be connecting to Snowflake. For better understanding, let's jump quickly to our Snowflake directly. So you can see on the left side that we have many tables that contain many information, and we need to build a query. We need to join this data, filter, and so on and so, building SQL code. So it's not obvious that information. Many users don't know how to build a query, they don't know what is the structure. But we can, of course, utilize Alteryx. Here, as you can see on the first container, we have 4 inputs using InDB Connect tools. So we are connecting to the Snowflake, then using the standard blending and preparation processes like joining, like changing data types, data names, removing irrelevant information using filters, doing some calculations, creating new variables, and so on, until the point that we are ready to summarize this data to the highest level, just to reduce number of information that will be downloaded to our computer. In this case, if you take a look closer, this is not correctly. Take a look closer. We have here about 1 million records in the Snowflake. When we are downloading to our computer, we are receiving only about 6,000 records, so much smaller amount of data. Below, if you take a look, we have another container, and this tool doesn't look like InDB tool. In fact, here we are starting our hybrid mode.
And it is very interesting because, as you can see, currency rates, okay? So let's assume that someone from business side asks you to get the currency rates from the internet, the fresh currency rates, which could be scrapped from the internet. So from our side, we created our own tool. As you can see, this is our data tool, which were created by us. And under this one icon, there is a specific logic, which you can see right now here. Sorry for this. And as you can see under this one icon, we have a specific logic of other workflow, which is scrapping the data from internet. So whenever I click the run button, I can source the data, for instance, from this page. So we can get really fresh data regarding currency, for instance, for euro, on daily basis, on hourly basis. This is not a problem for Alteryx. And the very interesting information about this is that this tool, which you can see right now, which we created in our data team, can be shared within the team. So let's assume that there is John, and John has very similar problem to this. So maybe he doesn't need to reinvent the wheel. He can use the macro which we already created.
Exactly. So also there's interesting question why we are bringing this information here, right? It's because the number of data that we are processing. We have 1 million records that means to output it to connect with standard tools like this, right? Maybe it's better to bring this 100 records to Snowflake, to temporary table, then perform everything on the Snowflake side, and just simply output it to Canvas. So once we have aggregated data, we are ready to perform our analysis. Take a look closer on the content here. We have 2 columns, which is lat and long, latitude and longitude, which is in fact coordinates of the location of each individual customer. It would be really great if we can calculate what is the distance to the nearest warehouse, and we can decide what should be the, let's say, the delivery price for that. Of course, we need another information. We need the same logic, latitude and longitude for warehouses. Unfortunately, we don't have that information in pure, beautiful, structured table. We need to parse it from some different sources. We have that information in PDF report. If you take a look closer, we have a full list of warehouses for each country with addresses and with the corresponding coordinates. we can parse that information. Also, we can try to parse something which is outside the table. If any of you was working with PDF, you know that just selecting, copying, and pasting this, it will not create beautiful table, right? So we need to somehow play a little bit with that. Of course, you can retype it. It's also not that problem. It's not too many information. But what if you have dozens of PDF files to work with?
On daily basis.
On daily basis, exactly. So in this case, what we can do, we can, Alteryx is giving us again, a hand, and we can use tool palette that is called computer vision. These tools are part of Intelligence Suite. So having that tool here, we can use image template where we can load example of the PDF file. We can select part of this PDF in which way we want to parse it. This time it will be as a table, but also I want to take this small information and I will output it as a string. Then we can load everything. So I mean, provide the something like directory tool, a full list of our PDF. We can select if we want to download only specific format and so on. And using PDF to text process parsing part. So here, as you can see in table, we have a full list of warehouses with headers for each country, plus this additional string value. Of course, it doesn't still look good, so we need to do some parsing or let's say restructuring. Because I'm lazy, always I'm creating a macros. In this time, I create a batch macro with 2 anchors out. One anchor is W for warehouses, where we have beautifully structured information, and R with this radius, so area covered by each warehouse. So finally, we have information from both ends. We have coordinates from customer side and from the warehouse side. So now we can play a little bit with spatial analysis.
And I have a question to you. Maybe not the question interesting information. Do you remember the quiz question which we had today about Alteryx? So Alteryx started with the geospatial analysis, and Alteryx name, the company name, comes from alter, which means to transform, and YX represents longitude and latitude.
Exactly. So using this simple spatial analysis for this exercise is really basic. We are just using create point tool, just convert the latitude and longitude to the, let's say, point on the map. This is spatial object called point. So we create it from the user end, from the warehouse end. So when we have that this point, then we can calculate the distance between the tools. Of course, we are using distance tool to calculate it. Now we are calculating the distance for each warehouse inside specific country, customer country. So we have more warehouses assigned to one customer. That's why we are using sorting and sampling to select the first nearest warehouse. Having that information is really, really great because to select the nearest, we can reduce cost of delivery. If we reduce the cost of delivery, then we can give to our client better price, or we can give him some discount that, because of the cost that we are saving. And finally, our data are more or less ready. We need to do some information. We want to send it to each manager that is responsible for that specific area or specific region, but we don't have that information in our data. So we will be bringing SQL database where we have that information. We have country code, region, and we have manager that is responsible for a specific region. Just simply joining, making some additional arrangements, calculations, and so on. Finally, we are ready to output this data to Tableau or Power BI directly.
That's right. So just to sum up, at the very beginning, we presented you a slide about the goal, the sourcing stage, data preparation stage. So at this moment, we presented you the first stage, which is about sourcing. We covered as well data preparation, and we would like to tell more about the output stage. As you can see, we have 3 goals in our mind when we are creating this workflow. The first one, the first request from the management, from our boss, was about updating daily sales dashboard in Tableau and Power BI. So we use Alteryx to do this work for us as well. There are already created tools which will allow you to publish the data, for instance, to Tableau server or Power BI. So in that case, we use Tableau to create the dashboard, which I'm happy to share right now. And this dashboard, this is very interesting, can be refreshed on daily basis or even each hour without any manual effort. So all the things which we discussed, PDF reading, Snowflake sourcing, all this data preparation, all this stuff can be done in automated way. And this data can be fresh and ready to use by business to make some decisions. And as you can see, as a goal, that we had as well a daily detailed PDF. So we captured this in our workflow as well.
Exactly. So in fact, when we are in our workflow in this point, it doesn't mean that we are finishing here. As you can see, there is some streams that are still going somewhere. So let me move up. And here we have another tool, interesting tool, which is reporting tools. So reporting tools will allows you to create components for the report, like map, like pie chart, or other charts, a table, text, header, footer, and so on. Using the layout tools, we can arrange these components horizontally or vertically, whatever we want. So finally, we preview this information, and when we are happy with the results, we can, of course, edit it how we would like to see it, with some information, tables, whatever. We are ready to output it. We will output that information using render tool as a PDF. As you can see, I put it in the blog until done because I want to run it in the order, in the sequence. So first I will create a PDF, then I will attach it as an email. So, sounds really good, but let me prove it that it's in fact working. I will jump in quickly to my mailbox. So as you can see here, I provide my email as a responsible manager. So each manager will receive for North America, EMEA, LATAM, and so on, reports generated immediately. We have that information as a body of the email, but also it can be easily downloaded as an attachment. So I guess it's pretty cool. And yeah, we said that this information will be delivered without our interaction, right? It will be scheduled. So what we can do, we can upload it to our Alteryx server, Alteryx gallery. So we can create a schedule. Let me show it to you. Sorry, schedule. As you can see, this is the workload we are working. It's scheduled on frequency every single day. Of course, we can modify it to run it every hour, every 5 hours, whatever we want. And we can also share that information using collection. In fact, this is
just to give you more background for those who may not know, this is Alteryx server gallery. And in this place, we can schedule the work which have been created, for instance, in Alteryx Designer on your machine.
Exactly. Let me prove it. Here we have workflow results. If I go here, I can see the full list of workflows that was scheduled, executed with the status, when it was happened, how long it took to execute it, without even our interaction. We just run it once. But also we said that we want to allow business users to download the data ad hoc, whatever they want. So with little touch of another tool palette, which is interface tool, we can create a user interface allowing them to decide what and when and which way they want to extract. Uploading this information to a gallery, and as I said, I shared that using collection. I put it to the sales results, and I shared with group managers. So each manager will be able to access it. Okay, let's open our incognito mode window, and I will access to the gallery as our sales manager.
Maria Gonzalez.
Maria Gonzalez. Maria Gonzalez is our manager. She's not Alteryx developer. She's not Alteryx expert. She don't know even what is Alteryx designer. But as you can see in my file, there is nothing. But if she go to the collection and access that collection I created and share with her, she will be able to see that workflows. oh yeah, this is the workflow I shared with her. So let's run it. She had to authenticate. So this is, let's say, double check that we are not sharing with someone who shouldn't see the results or shouldn't see the data. And this is the question that we created using interface tools. So she could decide to download all data, or maybe filter by country and select only specific country, or maybe she wants to send it for entire region. She's responsible for LATAM, so let's select LATAM. Also below, we provide a possibility to select if you want to output it as a PDF or Excel or send it as an email, and so on. Let's leave only PDF for now and just hit run. Now the workflow is running.
So it is running, and I have a question to you. How often do you have some questions from stakeholders about the budget? Like, often the budget is a problem, I would say, to have a budget to cover Alteryx license, to cover the work. And Alteryx server is a response for that. So Maria Gonzalez, the person that is running the workflow, she doesn't have Alteryx license. She doesn't need to spend some money on running those workflows. You just need the Alteryx developer and Alteryx server in place to run the reports without any additional cost. So this is just a great benefit.
Exactly. As you can see, it was quite fast to run this workflow. So if you go to the results, you can see that, first of all, the same information that we provide in an email is also selected here as a body, right? So she immediately can see, okay, so it means that it's for Argentina, for Brazil, and for Chile, some reports. But also, we decided to download it as a PDF. So we will drop down that list. There was a PDF. If you will select an Excel, it will be Excel. If we select to database or whatever, we can design whatever we want. And this is the great way that nobody will chase us to run the report for them, because they can do it on their own.
We gave them the application, and they don't need to have any programming expertise to run those processes. Okay, so we presented to you a whole concept, a whole journey about how we approach this problem, what was the reason, what was the way how we created that, and I have 4 takeaways as a result of this presentation. The first takeaway which I see is about the cost reduction. You can think and you can estimate how much of effort would it take to refresh this process. If you need to do this like manually, you would need to copy and paste the PDF data, and then you would need to get the data from Snowflake, prepare that. It would take ages. If you need to do that on the daily basis, I think it would take more than 200 hours of the monthly effort. Secondly, we see that there are 3 different outputs of this process. So the first one is the daily Tableau report or Power BI report. The second one was about the PDF files generated. And the third one, the application which we given to business people without any additional cost. And this all can be placed in one consolidated place. You don't need to have 4, 5, 6 processes to run this. You just need one Alteryx workflow, which will make the magic for you. Thirdly, this is minimizing the risk. Like, if you are doing something for more than 200 hours, there is definitely a chance that someone will copy and paste not the correct value, So that's the main takeaway. And last but not least, the time which were saved through this project could be spent maybe on the data validation. Maybe we could spend this on other project opportunities. You don't need to manually maintain a process. You can fully automate that to focus on better things, on advanced analysis. So I'm very happy to be here with you, and I would be more than happy to stay in touch with all of you. If you would like to connect with us, please scan the QR code and we can connect on LinkedIn. Moreover, at this stage, I would like to take a few seconds to remind that we are going to the after party, which will take place in the same building at the ground floor. And we are very happy to host you.